Okay.
Okay, we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. It is running a little bit behind here, but we'll call to order and request a confirmation about the Open Meeting Act required notice has been sent.
Yes, it has.
And can you do a roll call, please?
Commissioner Nelson, Commissioner Kirkhart,
Here.
Commissioner Castle,
Yes.
Commissioner Hubbard,
Here.
Vice Chair Oakes, Commissioner Kermer,
Here.
Commissioner Arnold,
Here.
Commissioner Coates, and Commissioner Lamar.
Here.
With that, we'll ask at this time if there can be any entertaining a motion to change the agenda.
So move, please. Would we change the agenda to the,
Move the guest speaker to
move the guest speaker right to current?
Do I have a second?
Second.
And all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Same sign. With that, we'll go ahead and start then. We'll move agenda item 3.2 and have our guest speaker start and save the rest of the agenda items for after his presentation. With that, we'll welcome today Department Director of Parks and Rec, Jeff Hammond.
Thank you so much for having me at this board. I've been this board, 3 or 4 months ago, and told Michelle that I have some a project coming up at Jerry Ivey Park and wanted to present that to you all or show that to you today. Again, as Michelle stated, my name is Jeff Hammond. I'm the Director of Parks and Recreation for the City of Salina, and I work right across the hall from Michelle and her staff. Got some slides to go through with you today, and I wasn't going to go through this in a huge amount of detail, but these are conceptual drawings that we had developed for the park to use for the development of the design and engineering of the park. This is on the south end of Jerry Ivey Park, and if you want to go to the slide right here, I'm sorry, yeah, go back one. Thank you. So this is a image. This slide shows you an image of a mapping from like a Google Maps area from the south looking north, and it's at an angle. It's a perspective of Jerry Ivey Park from the south looking north. And there's three areas that are highlighted in brown that are the areas that we will be focusing on for this design and engineering agreement. We're just to give you an update, we're almost done with the design and engineering. We're almost at the final stage. We're probably going to go to bid next week. And going to bid means we'll be putting it out into the wild for contractors to review. And we're hoping to get some good bids. And then sometime in December, just before Christmas, I hope to get an authorization from the City Commission to go forward with this project. So again, the three areas that we were looking at that are highlighted in brown on this slide, A is the memorial to Officer Jerry Ivey. So as you know, this park is named after Jerry Ivey, the police officer. It's Jerry Ivey Memorial Park. And there is a memorial there already, but we are looking to improve upon that. And I'll show you a few slides relating to that memorial coming up. B is a splash pad. I'm sorry. B is a water wall or a water feature. And we did this to put a water feature in replace of the pond that used to be there. So I'm sure the pond has lots of fond memories at Jerry Ivey Park. Unfortunately, that pond was really an unhealthy ecosystem. Had persisting blue-green algae for 2 to 3 years. And we just couldn't get it under control. We tried several methods to get it under control and could not. So the City Commission's feedback, based on the costs of what it would take to restore that pond, get it deeper, bring in more storm water to make it a healthier pond, was close to $1 million. And they were not willing to go that far. But they were willing to look at another project that had a water feature included. And this is part of that project to kind of bring that water feature back to Jerry Ivey. In addition, the C brown area is a splash pad. So it's a recreational leisure time component for families and kids who have, in the summer, it would run from May through September, or May through the end of September. We have a splash pad at Jerry Ivey now. Unfortunately, it died. And what I mean by that is all the plumbing underground was corrupted or ruptured. We found multiple breaks in it. It would have required us to remove the entire concrete surface of the pad, replace all the plumbing. We did have some settling issues in there, we discovered, and the feedback from staff and through the city manager's office and to the city commission was, this is our most used splash pad in town, and we'd like to see if we can improve upon it. We knew we were going to need to improve it. We knew it had some issues with settling, and we discovered it quickly last summer that it was in fact the case, that the plumbing was not good. And what I mean by plumbing is all the plumbing that comes from the pump and feeds all those features that spray water on that splash pad. Those were all bad. So, again, I'm not going to go through all the slides every in detail. This is a image on this slide of the memorial, of the improved memorial. There's a memorial rock at Jerry Ivey now. It's a rock and has a plaque on it. We are really highlighting that memorial, really going to highlight that memorial rock and plaque with features around it. Landscaping features, tall trees, small shrubs, 3 new flag poles. Right now there's 1 flag pole for the United States flag. We'll be adding 2 additional flag poles with lights, so they'll be on at night. So, and this is really the entrance if you're driving from Edward Street, from where in between Jerry Ivey Park and Salina South High School, you'll drive in this area, and this is the first thing you're going to see is this memorial. And we wanted to make it a significant presence, and we wanted to highlight and focus upon that memorial status of the park and of this area. Every year there is a fallen police officer event in May, and that's what this area is used for that. So it has a plaza-like atmosphere, a plaza-like feel, instead of just a rock and some landscaping around it. If you have questions, you can go ahead and go through the pages. I'm not going to there's some different angles. There's a side view, there's an aerial view of the memorial. And then we start getting into B, which is the water wall area. And you can see the water wall and the splash pad together. It's kind of in the same area.
I was going to say, it looks like it's all one thing.
Matter of fact, it is sharing some of the same water resources, the same water filtration, and the same water chemical treatment. And there's some images about what that water wall will look like, and these are examples. These pictures might give you the idea that it's huge. The water wall is only, the flowing water is only 8 foot wide. But the wall itself is much larger. It's, I don't know the exact feet of how long it is. But some of the images show that water wall and the flowing water feature in the middle of that wall. That'll be operated a longer period of time throughout the year, so probably until about now, next year, this feature will be running until we hit that deep freeze period at night, where we start having water freezing and things like that. Whereas the recreational component, the splash pad, will only operate till the end of end of September. And I hope the imagery helps. This was the presentation that we gave to the City Commission about the design and engineering. And there's an image looking south. This is the gazebo. This gazebo is very interesting to the city of Salina and to the community. This gazebo used to be at Oakdale Park, and it got moved to Jerry Ivey when Eric Stein Stage was put in at Oakdale Park. So this has a kind of something special to us. We wanted to make sure we treated it as it is, which is something to keep, something to care for. But this is looking south from the gazebo that's currently at Jerry Ivey. And this is the area in which the water wall and that splash pad component will be going into. And if you can envision it, some of the future slides kind of go into this a little more in detail. An accessible path going from this gazebo and around the gazebo, connecting the north part of the park to the south improvements that we are making. And then, so got some closer images of the water wall. That water wall, the water area where the water wall is relatively shallow. It's only about 4 inches of water or less. There are stepping stones through there. It's not designed to be a water feature. It's not really designed to be played on. We understand it could be played on. It is safe to play on, according to our designers, and we have had it reviewed by our risk manager for the city. But it would be, like I said before, the water would be treated just the same as a splash pad would. It would be chemically treated to be disinfected and filtered and things like that. You can get into see the splash ground area, some of the features that are being associated with that splash pad. There will be some lit components or lighted components. It'll be cool at night. I think I'm excited about bringing my kids out, which I have older kids, so I don't know what I'm talking about. I do have a 12-year-old, so maybe she would be interested. Some elevated features, some ground features, some features coming out of rocks. We want to get that natural components of the that are kind of picked up in the water wall area, the limestone block. We want that to be incorporated into this splash pad. So the splash pad manufacturers really have done a great job in the last 20, 25 years of making components that are easily accessible, whether someone is at ground level or someone is in chair level. We offer lots of different variety of features that can either come out of an elevated post, be manipulated at a waist level or a chair level, and then so this image that's on the screen, which is the next one, there's a river channel which is only about 3 to 4 inches deep, going through the splash pad. If you ever get a chance to go to Shawnee, Kansas, there is a similar splash pad in Shawnee, Kansas, that we are kind of modeling this river channel to go through the park. And it's an interesting feature, and it's kind of tied into, we're very excited about it, is what I'm trying to say. So we got some different views of the splash pad area, plenty of accessible, plenty of seating, bench areas.
The large structure at the back is that obviously your pumps and?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that is a pump house. Would contain all the filtration, chemical treatment, valves to every item on the splash pad. We can also control the water wall from in there. So we bring electricity to that. We have sewer to that, water to that. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And the last slide is some cost estimates. And then there's another slide about some additional work that we want to try to get done depending on where the bids come in. If the bids are high, then we might not be able to get some of these alternate items done. The alternate items are additional lighting. We do have lighting built into this water wall area, so at night it'll look really nice. But there is opportunity to put additional lighting for some of the pedestrian paths, sidewalks, additional sidewalks to really truly tie in more the north edge of Jerry Ivey to the south edge that we are developing. And then making that gazebo, right now that gazebo is accessible to the south. And because there was a pond to the north, and so now we don't have a pond there, but we want to make that accessible to the north, and that green space that's being grown there to use it for informal weddings or events. They can use the gazebo. They can go in there and get out of the shade for a while if they're playing football. But we want to add some steps to the north edge of that gazebo. And that includes some concrete and stair rail and things like that.
And will you ultimately take out the old splash pad altogether?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
And will you move the playgrounds at all?
That is
Not
part of that's the dry playgrounds.
Yeah.
No, we are not moving the
that-
playgrounds. However, you discovered on my secret is it's not a secret. Our future playground replacement plan calls for a larger, more destination style playground at Jerry Ivey. So that gives us the full amount of land, a greater amount of land to do that kind of, so we can
Yes,
have
but-
the existing playground there and add another, connect them together.
Especially without that splash pad, you've got quite a bit more room there.
So we're almost creating a dry area and a wet area
Okay.
of Jerry Ivey Park. But there is opportunity to put something, a playground on the south end too, but we really want to keep the playground amenities on the north end, but.
Is the new area pretty close to the road there between it and the tennis courts?
No.
No, okay.
That road on the south of that image there on the screen is the park road inside the park.
Okay.
On the south of that road is where the tennis courts are at,
Okay.
where the hiking trail's at,
Okay.
where the park shop is there. So we are, so
There's still a bit of a space.
yeah, there's still quite a bit of space. And matter of fact, we're thinking about, if you recall, there was two sand volleyball courts at Jerry Ivey. We are looking to replace those and put them back on just south of that gazebo, just south of that park road on that eastern edge of the
Okay.
park. A little worried about parking down there. It's going to be a popular destination, this splash pad. So I think we're going to have to look at some additional parking. There is 2 parking spots that you can see there, one on the lower left corner and one on the middle right side. And there's also additional parking that you can't see on the screen on the lower right. But that might not be enough for the amount of popularity this area is going to have once it opens for next summer.
There's parking also on the east, isn't there?
Correct. Well, there's some by the memorial.
Well, I was thinking on the east side of the splash park.
There is one by the shelter house there on the east side, on the west side. You say the east side?
There's some on the east side of what used to be the pond.
Yeah, it's on the east side of what used to be the pond.
Yeah, it's right there in the middle,
Yeah.
right middle, yeah,
Yes.
on that image.
Yeah.
Yep. So I think we might look at other opportunities for parking,
Yeah.
especially with sand volleyball, tennis, and now the splash pads. But I wanted to point out that I really want to get this site circulation portion done to get the additional sidewalks. We have sidewalks there, they're just not in the greatest condition, and we want to replace them. And add some as well. That's all I had for you as far as a presentation. Unless you have more questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them.
And I think what Mr. Hammond has agreed to do is kind of present things as they're moving along, so in case you guys have input as the Accessibility Advisory Board, and ideas for that.
Yes, thank you, Michelle. I kind of meant to add that. Thank you for doing that. But I think your input is valuable for our development of improvements, whether it be park-related or facility-related. So.
It looks like an improvement in accessibility from the old pond where you had to step down over the rocks and things to get down to pond level,
Yeah.
plus the whole concept of the pond.
Yeah.
Issues.
Yes, it had issues. But for 27 years, it served us pretty well.
Sure.
But it kind of ended its, needed a change, needed to, yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And with that, we'll welcome Commissioner Oakes, has been able to join us during the presentation, and we'll turn the meeting over to her as the vice chair, starting at 2.1.
Okay, which is approval of the minutes from our August 1st meeting. Everyone has gotten a chance to get those sent to them. Is there any input or changes requested on that? And so I will accept a motion to approve those.
I motion to approve the minutes from Thursday, August 1st, 2024.
And a second? Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. They have been approved. Okay. Next item is new business, and I don't think we have any new business at this time.
And no public hearings.
And no public hearings.
Under that.
And Michelle, I will have you help introduce our new members.
Yes, we would like to welcome Donna Castle, or Commissioner Donna Castle, as the newest member, and I think that's it. But with that, I'll let her just say hello and introduce, and then we'll go around the room. We'll start to my right with Commissioner Kirkhart after Donna has a moment. Commissioner Castle has a moment.
Okay. I moved here a couple of years ago, and I'm seeing some things in the city that could be improved, and so I voiced a few expressions since I've been here, and the city's been pretty responsive. So I just thought this would be a good opportunity.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Commissioner Kirkhart?
Brent Kirkhart. I know it is my second year on the board, I think, or 1.5.
Okay. And then Commissioner Lamar?
My name is Nancy Lamar, and I've been here a few months, maybe probably my second meeting right now.
Okay.
And I'm Lisa Oakes. I have been here a long time. In fact, I might be starting my last year as things go.
I think that's correct.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's correct. We're sad to hear that, but yeah.
So I guess I've been here 5 years.
Okay.
So,
I'm Laura Kermer. I've been on, I guess I'm completing my first year so far on this board.
And I'm Mary Lee Arnold, and I'm also completing my first year.
I'm Greg Hubbard. It's only my second meeting, so I'm just getting my feet wet.
And I'm Michelle Martin. I'm the board's liaison with the City of Salina. I'm the Community Relations Supervisor. And we want to welcome you, and I'll pass it back.
I'm Marissa Patton. I am the backup clerk for the AAB.
And my name is Lillian Morales, and I am your clerk.
So welcome.
all right. We're glad to have, it's nice to have a full panel here. This looks really good. Good. Staff report.
Yes, we have our training today, so that's kind of the newest thing. And then we need to, I don't have a whole lot more to report other than the liaison reports. I might add just a little bit. I don't want to steal anyone's thunder when we get down there, but most of our items have done that. And then as far as in your packet goes, the staff report relates to the election of officers. So the staff report we've provided to you this time is who's eligible to be that. We ask that individuals be on a year before we ask them to serve in the officer position. And we ask that we need a vice chair and a chair is what we need. And currently, we did elections last meeting, but our chair had to resign for other obligations and was not able to fulfill that commitment. So we currently only have a chair or vice chair, and we need to elect a chair. With that, that's all I have. Really, the staff report is all about that, and just kind of give you a cheat sheet on who's eligible and who's not, since we have some new faces today. Kind of help with that. But that's really all I have to report on.
So I think at this point to take nominations for chair, I open the floor to nominations for chair.
I'd nominate Lisa Oaks.
Okay. Okay.
I would do that.
Okay. She accepts, so do we have a second?
Second.
All right. This is kind of bizarre, but all in favor of Lisa Oaks as chair, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
And thank you.
All right. And so we need to have a vice chair. And I would like to nominate Michelle Coates for that. Can I? She's not here.
Yes, but she did advise she was willing to accept it, so
Okay.
she would be okay with that. She usually is here, but she could not attend today.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor of Michelle for vice chair? Are there any other nominations? We usually don't get too competitive on this. All in favor of Michelle Coates for vice chair, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. And Michelle shall be vice chair.
We will make sure she's notified
Okay.
of her role.
Let her know.
Okay. Next, we have liaison reports. First, Commissioner Kirkhart for information on the website.
I'm just going to be honest with you. I did nothing on it these last 3 months.
Well, I've got you covered.
Okay. Good.
So this has been a very busy area for us because as we talked a little bit last time, WCAG, which is the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, were enacted, and we have 3 years as a city, a Title II entity, to get them implemented. They're due April 24th, 2027, and we've been hard at work trying to lay out an implementation plan and doing some other things. I say we, and the gentleman who helps us with the filming who's in the room too. We've had lots of meetings and we're doing a few more, but we think from everything we hear, we're ahead of the game as far as getting that in, because a lot of other Title II entities may not even be aware of this requirement, but we've got till April 24th, I believe, 2027. It's April 2027. I'm 90% sure it's April 24th. You'd think I'd have it memorized. But that's what we're doing on working through that implementation of that. And our website still remains to be good, but there are a lot of other elements because it's all accessibility for all content. We're talking social media, everything. It's a very comprehensive set of guidelines. But we'll continue to talk. And I apologize, Commissioner Kirkhart. We're still working on the implementation plan. We've kind of got some things laid out, and hopefully by the next meeting we can report a little more. But comparatively speaking, and from other Title II entities in the state, I think we're on the right path and maybe a little ahead of some others.
Okay. For social networking and social media, we will need a new liaison for that. And Michelle, I might have you just describe that.
Sure. You thought great minds think alike.
Okay.
I was just thinking that I'd give a little bit of description. So what we were looking for is someone to have some input on what kinds of content to post. We work really closely with the city's individuals, and most of it's Facebook and Instagram, I think, are the two primary ones. We have the YouTube channels that have all the meetings, including this one. I'll go through the city's YouTube channel, which those three are 3 main social media accounts. But just ideas for types of postings, types of outreach through that social media content. And then we'll work with the YCAG to make sure it's compliant, but the person that was just trying to give us ideas, because it's sometimes, and we want to reflect what this board thinks too should be the ideas of how we reach out, what kind of messaging. It's not anything that this individual would have to do alone. It's more of a consultation with our division, the community relations staff. And you don't have to create them. We have a wonderful wizard of Marissa who can create really great social media posts. If you just give her an idea, she will help make it happen.
Is there anyone who might be interested in taking that on as an advisory capacity?
I will.
Good.
Thank you, Commissioner Kermer.
Thank you. The next is training. Michelle is not here, but I will say I attended a good portion of the accessibility workshop that was put on, and I know others were there. I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I thought covered a lot of topics. Turnout was pretty good.
Yeah.
I thought it went well.
We were excited for the first year, and we can thank Lillian Morales for really taking the lead and making sure it went so smoothly that day, and everything went really well. I was pleased with the topics, but we'll look for ideas. I know Commissioner Coates has been really outstanding. She did a lot of ideas and brainstorming and coming up with ideas for it, and we haven't received yet confirmation, but I think we're planning to do it again next year. And you guys at our next meeting, the commissioners at the next meeting, will do our goals and planning. The city once a year does goals planning and sends out to all the boards, like, what are your goals? And, provided that this commission agrees with that and the boss agrees with that, the department budgeting. We did it on a pretty good, I'd say a pretty slim budget. We had some sponsors and that helped tremendously. And I think we're targeting, as long as this commission agrees in their goals and is on board with that, we'll probably do it again next year. Mm-hmm. The timing wise, it works well for us. I'm not sure, we can discuss that in our goal planning. You might be thinking about that, but debriefing wise, we were pleased with our first attempt at it.
I thought it was very good. The speakers who were from outside of the area were very, very good. And then the panel of discussion of people from inside the area, I thought were very, very good and covered a wide array of concerns.
Yeah.
I like that.
We want to thank those of you who helped make that possible too and participated.
All right. In the area of transition, I am going to turn that over to Michelle as well, because I have not done anything on that one.
And we have, again, we're continuing to work on that.
It's an ongoing process.
Yes, and we have a meeting at the end of this month to see where we are with all the other things from the last transition plan, and kind of the first goal was to get all of those items from the last transition plan was done, and it's been a few years. So, and then we can kind of see where we go from there and what areas to take on. Truthfully, the YCAG has kind of been the consuming part. It wasn't originally thought of in 1990 when it was enacted. However, it's become the most recent and the biggest project. It's outside.
It's part of the transition plan.
It is, yeah. It is kind of, even though it wasn't originally. But that implementation has been consuming most of our time. But we are on track still, hopefully by the end of the year, to have all those other things from left over, and then where we go from there on implementing a new transition plan, and probably going to have some outside someone to kind of from the outside step in and say an analysis, because it's always good to have some fresh eyes if you can.
Kind of where we need to go.
Yes. What are the things? I mean, we can always see a few things, but it's just sometimes nice if we can. So my goal is by the end of the year, we're to report to the city manager. We have a meeting the end of this month because it primarily affects about 4 departments. Our department, Parks and Rec, and General Services and Engineering are kind of the 4 main departments that have the biggest input on it. I mean, it affects everyone, but those are the big ones. They're the ones that fix the things, that build new things, and do all that. So they're the ones most exposed to that outside of WCAG and the web content.
And then the next item is the resource list. And Marissa, is it 2 years ago that we did that, or at least 2 years ago? And maybe we need to just come up with a rotational plan of how often we're going to review that.
Yeah.
I think you did do a little review last year, if I remember
was
correctly,
thinking.
but we didn't do a full update. But if I remember,
a full update.
it's always changing. You could change it
Yeah.
every month.
Yeah. I'll have to, I do not recall exactly when it was, but I feel it was at least 2 years ago that we did that. Do you think it needs a full redo?
I don't think so. I think we could do an overview review, make sure that
Okay.
everything looks correct.
Okay.
See if we're missing any resources that we know, any new ones.
Or if any have dramatically changed?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. We can review that. Preliminary discussion items, are there any at this point?
We have none.
Okay. I always ask Michelle, and I never know where to fit it. Has there been a lot of issues brought to your attention that would be of interest to this board?
We haven't had any new, I'm trying to think, because we've met quarterly. We've had a couple of, sometimes things come up and we call the businesses and they fix them. We only have one individual that is still not fixing something that may lead to more. We're in discussion. It probably will go. And that hearing would go before the HRC if it
Right.
leads to that. So our other commission. I'll repeat that. No, we've had a couple incidents, and I lose track a little bit from when we met last. We've had a couple calls in, and they've been able to be resolved. People are very quick to usually fix the things that we call about. We just have one individual who's dragging their feet a little bit, shall we say, and the next step is probably we're going to be filing with the HRC a complaint or looking at some other options to entice them to fix it.
Okay.
But they're all parking. There's not been anything. It's all been parking issues.
And that's why I always ask. I want just kind of want to know what is trending as concerns in the community is what I always want to know.
The complaints that have come to my attention have all been parking related, and everyone else has been. There was one that was doing some construction at the time, and I kind of did it. But when the construction is all done, it's going to be even more accessible parking.
Yeah.
So that just took a little bit of working with making sure they kept something accessible during construction. So, but that one, they were easy to work with. There's just the one that's been lingering a little bit, and
Okay. I just always think that's good to know what's going on in the community. So we will go to unfinished business with the plans for the 2025 Fair Housing Seminar.
Yes, we always want to make sure this board is aware of the date, because where we don't meet monthly, I want to make sure it gets on the agenda when we do meet. But it's going to be Friday, April 25th, 2025. We have the speakers fairly well lined out. We have a good plan. It's not all solidified yet, but we look forward to, and we will always have a booth. Any of you are welcome to attend. Just let us know. But we'll have a booth for each of the commissions. So there'll be a booth for the Accessibility Advisory Board, and then one for the Human Relations Commission, or Human. Did I say that right? Human Relations Commission, HRC. They will be there. And you're welcome to attend. You're welcome to be at the board or at the booth. We'd recommend, we're going to try and narrow the times down, maybe not all day, but that was a suggestion. There are certain times when there are breaks and like over the lunch hour and that kind of thing when people are more coming to the booth. Otherwise, they're in the class and they aren't really wandering the vendors very much. But we'd love to have any of you attend and get it on your calendar if you are able.
That was April 5th.
25th, April 25th, and it is in your agenda, so the date's in your agenda, but we're trying to be consistent to have it the last Friday in April.
And again, it is a seminar that has usually speakers from anywhere in the country in the past couple of years, and it's been very interesting. So I would encourage people both to man our booth during breaks, but also to maybe attend parts of it if they would find it interesting.
And we have credits offered. That's a good point, too. Like, there'll be a credit for CLEs for attorneys, CEUs, I think, for social workers, and CUs. I get all the acronyms a little confused, but social workers can get credit, real estate agents can get credit, and attorneys can get credit. We have it certified with all three of those if all goes according to plan again. We've tried to maintain those certifications. How many hours until we get everything? It takes a process. I can't tell you how many hours, but usually it's a pretty good deal. We're probably going to keep it at the same $30 to register, and then a little bit extra for if you're doing the social work accreditation. It has to go through another layer, so there's a little bit additional fee for that. But that includes your lunch and all the materials.
Do we have to sign up and pay that amount, or?
No, the board
Okay,
doesn't.
yeah.
We just like to know for head count for the meals. But the board members, I guess that's your one perk, is we don't charge you for attending if you'd like to attend. But if you are wanting the social work credit, you would have to pay that fee.
It is interesting to attend. The times that I've been there have been landlords there. There have been just all sorts of people who have interests in fair housing, and it's been interesting to attend. So I would encourage people to attend.
There were people from other boards, like in Topeka, that came too. And,
True.
you know, they questioned some things. It was good response.
So thank you. We welcome all of you.
It's a good one. And then an invitation to participate in City of Salina Safe Streets Survey.
Yes, they're doing a survey. If you want to get on the City of Salina's website and look at this, Safe Streets Survey, I can't remember when it closes, but we're welcoming public input, and I said I would share with this commission to have that input. We value all your input, everyone in the community's input, but the more we can get that word out to participate at the City of Salina's website. And if you have any issues or questions and you can't find it, let us know. I apologize we didn't bring it up on the screen today, but I wasn't that prepared. But just want to let you know, I can't remember. It's closing, I want to say the end of this month or sometime, but there is an end date. It's not going to be up there forever. We're trying to gather this input, and we really value the members of this board's input.
And so this would be a good opportunity if there's an unsafe intersection or something.
Correct.
That people might have concerns about.
And I think it's geared, I participated in a verbal discussion about it that the engineers encouraged. And so I don't know exactly all the questions in the written survey, but I think there are some questions and there's some places where I don't know if anyone here has done it yet. Have you, Commissioner Kermer?
Yeah, so they, it gives you like a map, and you can actually pinpoint, like drop areas where it's an unsafe intersection, or the sidewalk is unsafe or not travel or not accessible. So you can actually really pinpoint. You don't have to describe in words like this area. You can actually pinpoint on the map this spot, is not safe or needs more work.
So thank you.
That's a nice opening for the city to be doing, to be gathering that information.
We're trying.
Yeah. Okay. I do not see anyone here currently for the public forum.
And I don't think anyone's online.
Okay. So Prior to motion for adjournment, let's just review that our next meeting will be Thursday, February 6th, then Thursday, and they will be at 3 o'clock.
Yes, they will. They are all, at this time, they
Sorry
are all
about that.
normal times. I apologize. We had to find a time that worked for this meeting since we had a training last week.
For 5 years, they've been at 3 o'clock. All right. Thursday, February 6th, Thursday, May 1st, Thursday, August 7th, and then Thursday, November 6th. All at 3 o'clock. So I will open the floor to a movement to adjourn.
I
I
moved to
move that we adjourn.
Okay, it's been moved and
second.
seconded. And so all in favor to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. And we are adjourned.
Yay.